Some of you guys may have noticed I have a tub here that's full of water hyacinth, and you may be wondering why exactly I have water hyacinth in a tub away from the geese. And the reason is I actually plan to pump some of the pond water into here and do kind of I don't know, kind of an aquaponics type thing, I guess. So water hyacinth is invasive, super invasive, and the reason it's so invasive is because of the way it grows. And there's a plant in freshwater, I think it's called mugwort. A lot of fishermen hate it. Hogwort, mugwort, I don't know, something like that. It's a freshwater plant that just, the way it grows is the same way this grows. And it grows by breaking pieces of it off. And the problem with that is you can't get it all, right? So you can get a bunch of it out of the water, you know, tons and tons and tons, but every time you touch it, a piece breaks. And that little tiny piece can only be that big, and it'll start a new plant. And it's kind of the same way with this. You'll notice this piece I'm touching here, it spreads by rhizomes. So this is a rhizome right here. And what happens is when this breaks, like that, this is now a new plant. You know, you'd be like, duh, well, yeah, now you got two, right? Well, no, this is a self-sustaining plant. It has its own root system, and it's now completely, very obviously, separate from this other plant now. So now instead of, what, 12 or whatever, I got 13. So every plant like this will shoot off a couple rhizomes. Like I think this one here is going to be another. You can see that it has kind of a stalk growing off the side there. And if we break that off, it's not quite ready yet. If we break that off, it'll be another plant. And every little underside of it here forms its own little roots. And these guys don't need to be anchored in dirt. They just float in the water. And every little bulb here is kind of hollow. It's filled with like a foam, like a cellular type foam that the plant makes, and they float. And you can't sink them until they die. Once they die, they decompose and sink. But when they're alive, they float. Now the benefit of this, first, they're pretty. They flower lavender, and this whole area here will have these little lavender flowers all over the place. But the benefit of this is this whole root mass. So the reason for this, these water hyacinth, as invasive as they are in a closed environment like this, they do an excellent, fantastic job of filtering water. It's oftentimes you'll find these in like roadway ditches and things like that where they've just invaded. But the effluent, if it can make it past them, the effluent, the water that comes out, is often very, very clean. And they'll use them for like polluted areas, trying to clean up along roadways for runoff and stuff like that. But you don't want these to get out of control in a body of fresh water, because they'll completely clog it. And the problem is, what they'll do is they'll bunch so close together with this root ball, this root mat, that you can't see. No light will get to the bottom, meaning that there's no oxygen, and it just becomes a anaerobic environment. So the fish all die and the plants die, and the only thing living in it are these, and a lot of clean water. So it's not the best plant for open water environments, but you can see that the roots are just, they fan out. They do a really great job of catching pollutants and clarifying water, especially capturing a bunch of pollution and runoff, nutrient runoff from like farms and stuff. They do a really good job of that. So the other purpose of keeping these things is the geese like to eat them. It looks like one of the geese have actually nibbled a little bit on this one, and maybe the corner of that one right here, because they'll float to the side and the geese will reach their heads in and take a nibble. but they're not poisonous to geese, and they're actually kind of like a, I don't know, kind of like a treat, a snack to geese. So once I get a little thick here in terms of water hyacinth, I just toss them into the pond over there, and then they become a toy, right? The geese like to play with them and nibble on them and stuff like that, and there's no real fear of these getting out of control in my small pond over there. So the hope is to use these to clean up some of the water coming out of that pond, and another food source, another snack, right? So water hyacinth, you usually get it for free, and that was the case in this. I got all this water hyacinth for free. The lady was initially offering, I think, three for free, and you know, I messaged her and I said, hey, is 3 all you have to offer? I don't mean to be greedy or anything, but if you're looking to thin out your, you know, water hyacinth problem, I can take some. And she gave me 4 bags of water hyacinth. So if I'm not mistaken, I think they say every 2 weeks, it might be every 2 or 3 weeks or something like that, this stuff doubles. It grows, like I said, very fast. So we'll see. The geese will have some snacky snacks, and I'll have some clean water. Figured I'd give you a look. And this is it's a 300 gallon drinking trough. So I think as long as the temperature stays alright, maybe I'll go find some fish and put them in here, and hopefully they'll help to keep my water in this a little cleaner. Maybe keep the mosquitoes off, because I can already see a film starting on top, and that'll be a problem. It'll become a mosquito pond, and I don't know about you, but I don't particularly enjoy mosquitoes. And you know, the answer to that would be putting some ducks in it, but then I have to build a ramp around it, and then they'll eat my water hyacinth, and it's just, you know, one thing after another. So I'll go for fish, I think. There's all them ducks over there looking at me, and believe me, they're all looking at me. It's not just me like saying they're looking at me, they're all looking at me and watching, making sure I'm not a predator. Dang ducks. Anyway.